Welcome to our comprehensive tutorial on building a survival game in Java. In this series, we'll explore the fundamentals of game development and design, focusing on creating an engaging survival experience. We'll cover everything, from the basics of Java programming to advanced game mechanics. Let's gear up and dive in. Before we jump into coding, let's outline the core features of our survival game. Our game will include a player character, an inventory system, and a basic world for exploration. We'll also implement health mechanics and simple AI for enemies. To start coding, we need to set up our development environment. You'll need the Java Development Kit, JDK, installed, along with an IDE like IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse. Once your environment is ready, create a new Java project for our survival game. Inside this project, we will create several packages: model, view, and controller. The model will handle the game logic, the view will manage the user interface, and the controller will handle user input. Let's begin with the model package by creating a player class. This class will represent the player in our game. It will include attributes like health, inventory, and methods to interact with these attributes. Next, we'll create an item class. This will allow us to represent various items the player can collect, such as food or tools. Each item will have a name and a type. Now, let's implement the inventory management functionality within the player class. We can add a method to list all items currently in the player's inventory. Next, we should design a basic game loop. The game loop will handle user input, update the game state, and render the game. Let's create a game class that contains our main loop. In our game loop, we need to implement player interaction. For simplicity, we can use console input to get commands. Let's utilize the scanner class to read user input. It's time to add some elements to our world. We could create a world class that defines the environment the player can explore. This class could contain methods to generate terrain and spawn resources. In the game loop, we should add functionality that allows players to gather resources from the world. For instance, when a player types gather, we can remove an item from the world's resources and add it to their inventory. Next, let's introduce a health system. Players will need to maintain their health by consuming food items. We'll enhance our item class by adding a nutrition value and implement a method to consume food. Now, let's implement enemies in our game. We'll create an enemy class that has properties like health and damage. The player should have the option to combat these enemies. To wrap this up, we can add a simple combat system in our game loop. When a player encounters an enemy, they can choose to attack or flee. Let's implement an attack command. Finally, let's bring everything together in the main method. We will create an instance of the game class and start the game. The player will automatically have some health at the beginning. Thank you for joining me on this journey of building a survival game from scratch in Java. We've covered significant topics, including player mechanics, inventory systems, world generation, basic AI, and combat. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Like this tutorial if you enjoyed it, and share your thoughts in the comments. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next video.